Welcome to Realtor Therapy with Stef and Cal.
We're your hosts, Stephanie Campbell and Kelly Dugan, top producing agents with the Gold Group at Properties Christie's International.
With over $200 million in sales, we've seen it all. The wins, the losses, and the downright insane moments that come with being a realtor.
This podcast is your no BS, unfiltered look into the world of real estate.
Whether you're an agent needing a therapy session or looking to level up your game, we've got real stories, real problems, and real talk.
And hey, if you're a client, stick around. You might just pick up a few trade secrets.
Let's get into it. Hello, hello.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
We have a special guest on here today.
The most special.
Literally the most special.
I mean, he was at one time my husband.
Yeah, you'll have to tell that story.
That was so fun, wasn't it?
That was a good time. That was in the very beginning.
How many years ago was that?
That had to be like 2018, 2019.
Yeah, it was pre-pandemic for sure, right? Yeah.
It was before I was on the team because I remember you told me the story when we met at Starbucks for the first time.
Oh. Whoa, I brought up Duval my very first meeting with Kelly. That's how much of an impact.
What was his name from The Bachelor?
Dustin.
Dustin.
Yeah, shout out Dustin.
Yeah, he forgot about all you guys now that he's all.
So we actually did. We had somebody on the team for a hot minute that went on to The Bachelor, right?
Not me.
Should have been, right? And it was so funny because he needed B-roll for, what was it, his...
For...
hometown, right?
It wasn't the hometown. It was the introduction to...
Like who you are. When at the beginning of The Bachelor, when they play like their little snippets about them doing stuff. It was literally ABC, right? That came in and filmed us.
Wait, yeah, so were you in it?
So no, we didn't make the final cut.
We didn't make the final cut.
Apparently they didn't believe us, but Duval and I literally had to play husband and wife.
Yes.
And and we walked through one of our listings.
Yes. So he was the realtor, and then we were the couple that was going to buy the property.
That is
so we were basically
funny.
acting as if we were a couple purchasing a property in the Westtown area.
Yeah, it was so fun and hilarious.
That is funny.
I loved it so much. I mean, everybody knows on the team that I have a little crush on Duval anyways. I got to live out my dream.
Duval is our team member. We didn't even really say who he is.
Let's give a little background about who this man with us is. And for those that don't understand actually our dynamic, so a lot of people are confused about wait, who's at Properties Christie's International? Who's the Gold Group? So when you're a realtor, you have to have a sponsoring broker. You have to hang your license at a brokerage. Our brokerage is at Properties Christie's International. 2 names. And we make up the Gold Group. So there's 10 of us now on the Gold Group, right?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think Cranny just went back in.
Yeah.
We got Megan.
Wow.
I know. So we're
growing.
We're growing. So, and Duval's been on the team for what year did you come on?
I started in 2018, so I've been on the group for about 8 years now, actually.
Wow.
Yes.
Very exciting.
As soon as I started real estate, I joined at Properties and I joined the Gold Group.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you met first Kaylin.
I met Kaylin first, our other team leader. I mean, she was just amazing and just had the best smile and the kindest eyes. So I was like, you know what, this interview is going very well. I like this dynamic.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I met Stephanie, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely the team that I need to be.
We have to interview Kaylin so people can get like a full picture. And we've put her on the schedule a couple times, but then you know what? We just get busy.
I know. Things fall through the cracks.
I know.
And it's great. Our team having Stephanie and Kaylin, it's like a yin and yang kind of a
scenario.
They're complete opposites of each other.
Complete opposites.
It's awesome.
Like, is that a good thing?
I think it's beneficial for us. Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Because when you have a situation that comes up, you put them in a group message and you get 2 different responses, but both responses are amazing, but you kind of...
Stephanie's the pit bull, and Kaylin's the golden doodle.
You need both.
You need both. Good cop, bad cop.
So what is a mix of that?
A pit doodle.
A pit doodle. There we go.
I've never seen a pit doodle. I wonder if this exists.
I doubt it.
Somebody's had to have come up with one somewhere along the way.
I'm sure.
We'll
There's
ask
a
a
million
breeder.
doodles. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Duval, a main reason we wanted to have him on because we love him, obviously, but he is so savvy when it comes to buying and selling investments, like working with investors when it comes to whether it's a flip, whether it is, someone who wants to get into their first investment and maybe buy a property and rent it out, all these things. So like he is like my go-to if I ever have a question when it comes to anything investor related. So that's kind of what we're going to
agree.
gear
Like,
towards.
he's talking about coming to Kaylin and I for advice. Like, I go to Duval for advice on like 2 flats, 3 flats. and some we like to sell.
Some we like to sell. Some have tenants and other issues.
He has so much experience in that realm because I feel like you know how to handle clients really well in that area too. And we were talking about before we hopped on the podcast how different the client even can be from like residential emotional buyer versus like, hey, what are the numbers? Is this a good investment?
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Just give me the numbers and give me an answer, and that is it. No emotion behind it.
That is so nice.
It makes it a little bit different than working with just residential, someone buying their first time home, or you're working with a family that's looking to purchase a property that they have those emotions with. So sometimes with investors, you kind of have to take that portion out, which kind of makes it amazing, but at the same time makes it different.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, definitely both would have pros and cons because I feel like a lot of my relationships in the residential side of things is a lot of like emotions and closeness and this and that. And then, on the other side, the investors, you don't really have that as much.
Yes.
No, but they probably get addicted to other things like your honesty,
yes.
your directness. And
They love directness. Investors love directness and honesty.
Yeah.
And just being upfront. Hey, is this a great investment? Let them know. Yes, this is a great investment.
So how do you know if something's a great investment or not? What are the main things you look at?
Well, and I think there's 2 kinds of investments, right? So we'll have you. What are the 2 types of investments that people are usually coming to you for?
So just to give you a little bit of background, I work on the south side of Chicago. Actually, I work all over Chicagoland, but mainly in the south side of Chicago in the south suburbs. So you get a lot of multi-units, right?
Okay.
So I get 2 types of investors that want to buy and hold, or an investor that wants to purchase a property and flip it and make their money back very quickly. Right. So we'll just start off with the first one. If you want to buy and hold, you buy a multi-unit. You can either move into it or you don't have to, but you'll buy a 2 flat or, something more up to 5 units. Mm-hmm. You can live in there and then you rent out the rest of the units. Right.
Now, if somebody comes to you and they're like, okay, I want to get, and I have clients that do the same thing to me. I want to start getting into real estate investments.
Yes.
I've never been an investor before. Like, what should I do? Should I flip it? Should I hold it? Like, what do you think I should do, Duval? Where's the best place to start?
So it depends. Are they looking to move themselves? Because if they're looking to move themselves as well, I would say for them to purchase a multi-unit, live in one of the units and rent it out. Right. Yeah. Now, if they don't want to move and they love where they live, I would probably say move closer to purchasing a property for very cheap, of course. You want to buy the property as low as possible and then renovate it and then flip it.
Okay.
So mainly with those investors, I start that process in the fall and winter so that we can get the property ready for the spring market when you can get the most for it.
That's a smart timeline.
That's actually very smart to think about. So if an investor came to you right now and they're like, hey, Duval, I want to start off small. I was thinking like maybe I'm going to get like a condo. Yes. to rent out as I'm going to build my portfolio, so to speak. Because I think a lot of people think that maybe they want to be a landlord, right?
Yeah, everything when I hear like, it'd be such good passive income. And it's like, yeah, passive is quite the word to use because it's not as passive as you think.
Depending on the tenants that you get, it can be passive. It can be, but there are times where you do have demanding tenants. So you just have to be willing to work with those people.
Yeah.
I know. And what about, is the loan process any different, I wonder, for if investments? Like, is there things to keep in our mind for people? Like, let's say they want to start out investing. How much money do they have to have squared away for this kind of thing?
So, I mean, there's so many different scenarios. So you can get a regular loan. You can use a regular conventional loan to do an investment property, but you can also do a rehab. You can use a rehab loan,
like a 203k loan,
like a FHA 203k loan, a regular conventional rehab loan. And there's also something called hard money, which a lot of my investors use. Is basically like cash, but they are a little stricter on the appraisal and making sure that you have all your numbers down correctly before they lend you the money.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, they want like it mapped out, right?
They want it completely mapped out, and they will send their own inspectors and appraisers as well to make sure that this is a great investment for them.
And I don't even know this honestly. Like, where do you, if you want a hard money loan, like who?
So yeah, there's
like who do you call? You don't call a normal lender, right?
No, you don't call a normal lender. They're different lenders that we use. We have a few here in Illinois. We've used different hard money lenders in Florida.
Okay.
But yeah, they're a great resource because it's just like cash.
Right.
Is the interest rate just a lot higher on it?
The interest rate is a lot higher.
So if you're getting a hard money loan, that's something that you want to flip as quickly as possible.
Yes, they want their money back quicker than, let's say, you do a regular conventional or FHA loan. They want their money back quick. If
somebody comes to you and is like, okay, I want to start my investment portfolio. I think I want to be a landlord. I want a long-term hold. Would you recommend that they maybe start small on something like a condo, or would you recommend like a single family home, you think?
I would recommend, well, both of those
are good
investments.
It probably depends on the area, right?
It really depends on the area. So I'll give you a good example of South Shore, right? Okay. South Shore in Chicago has a lot of 3-flat units. And I would say most of my clients that purchase in that area, they buy a 3-flat and they live in one of the units and rent it out. And every time I talk to them, they're like, oh, this is amazing. I'm so glad I did this because they're able to just rent out the units. And you don't have to rent it out to strangers. You can always rent it out to your family members, friends. So it just opens the door to different possibilities. And once you actually start making enough money, maybe you continue renting all the units, you move out, purchase another property and live there, and just continue the cycle over and over again.
And I mean, again, this is a lender question, but I think we know the answer, right? So if you're buying a long-term hold, you want to have at least 25% down plus some for fixing, right? Because with an investment property, you have to put 25% down. But if you're going to live in the unit, in the 3-flat, would you still need to put 25% down?
Yeah, if you're going to be living in the unit, you don't have to put.
I think it's down. Like if you could do like 5% down or 10% if you're living in it. As far as I know.
But the lender needs to see how much you're going to be getting in rent.
Okay.
Right. So when you actually talk to your lender, the agent, I will have the rent roll, which has all the rent amount. Thank you. Has all the rents amount and the expenses, and you send that over to the lender.
Yeah, and your rent roll is really easy to I've used it. You've sent it to us. I've asked for it like 3 times.
Okay, yeah. What is rent roll? Like if someone was like,
Kelly is the best question master for the listeners.
Yeah. So like if a I guess seasoned investor sees a potential property that's on the market that has potential, or past tenants, current tenants, whatever, they're usually going to ask for like the rent roll.
Yes.
What is that?
So let's stick to the example of the South Shore property, the 3-flat. Each unit is $1,500 a month, right? Okay. So then what is that? $4,500 total that you're going to be getting back in rent. So you have to send that over to the lender and say, hey, this building is going to be making $4,500 in rent. Of course, you have to add expenses in there as well. Let's say you have $1,000 in expenses. So net, you're making $3,500 on this building. So that needs to be sent over to the lender.
Or if sometimes like the landlord might take care of the heat, or the gas bill.
Exactly.
Like any type of expense that comes on the landlord's end would essentially go on that rent roll to show the net number that building is bringing in.
Yes.
Yeah, insurance.
Yeah, insurance.
Maintenance is a big one. I think a lot of people forget is the maintenance of the building itself, especially once again using the example of South Shore. Those buildings are a lot older. Right. And some of those buildings even are still on a boiler system. They're not using furnaces and HVAC systems, right?
Yeah.
So you still have to maintain the boiler and make sure that the heat is working correctly during the Chicago winters, because they're going to call you.
Oh, yeah.
And isn't it kind of funny? You probably, again, for realtors that are listening, and they might be wondering, okay, how do you, investor clients are awesome because that's kind of like repeat business, right?
Yes.
I was joking with my husband recently, who's also in sales. I was like, the difference between your sales and my sales is like, I have to find new business every year.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you have at least some repeat doctors every year that you can rely on. Like, we have to go out and find new clients. That's one great thing about builders and investors.
Yes.
It's repeat customers for us, right? Where would you how do you find investor clients?
So I'll actually start from the very beginning. So when I started with App Properties, I had an older agent reach out to me saying that she's kind of done doing working with investors, and if I wanted to get started working with investors. I said, yeah, why not? Send it over to me. And I'm so glad I did this pre-pandemic, before things kind of just went crazy. Wow. So I started working with this couple. Their names are Albert and Tiffany. They're probably my biggest investors so far. We've sold at least 8 to 10 buildings. We flipped them and then sell them in the West Pullman and Roseland area. Okay. And I started off just with them. I was just learning as we go. Those investors were brand new as well. It was their first time purchasing, and we just continuously throughout the 8 years, every year we do at least
love that.
one house. Yes.
So you kind of grew with them.
We grew together, and they're currently. It's funny that you say this too, because that you do work in Florida. They're looking to starting to do work in Florida as well.
I mean, now is the time, right?
Now is the time.
Oh, we were.
Yeah, yes. Stephanie has a little bit of a.
And I mean, that's the thing is like what I want to say, like a PSA almost to anybody listening. I think a lot of times people are overly optimistic with investments.
Yes.
And it's not like gambling in Vegas. You obviously have a lot more data to back up your decisions and things, but there is a risk when you invest because you can't control the market. You can't control where pricing goes. I was explaining to them that we got stuck in a 1031 exchange, and we could do a whole podcast.
What's a 1031 exchange?
I know. It's basically a way to the profit that you make from a sale, you turn around and spend that money plus the original investment. Yep. And it's to basically kick the can down the road on paying taxes on the profit. Yes.
So rolling out your proceeds from one investment into another is a way that you can avoid paying those capital gains taxes.
And there's a lot of details that go in it. Like you have a certain amount of time to identify the properties, a certain amount of time you have to close on the properties. There's a lot of pressure involved in it. We rolled some money from Chicago sales into Florida in the peak of the market, highest high of pricing. We have high interest rates on those properties. We recently tried to refinance them. They had appraisals come back. The appraisals came back like over $100K under what we had paid for them.
That makes my stomach hurt for you.
It's quite depressing. We would love. Believe me, I would love to get out of this investment. I would love to close the door and roll it somewhere else.
You're just stuck right now.
We're pretty much stuck, and it's not fun. It's not fun. But I mean, you know what? This is one of the risks that you take on with doing investments. We have had Chicago properties that have done so well, and not to mean that they're not a pain in the butt, and maintenance is a thing. We have one that we Airbnb, one that's a long-term hold, like condo investment that's a little bit simpler. I've got a water issue right now on my Airbnb, trying to figure it out. Like something's going on with the chimney. I mean, it's endless, ripping out drywall, trying to figure it out, thinking we repair it. It's not repaired. It's, things like this happen. Yeah. And you have to be mentally prepared for it not to be easy. There's success stories and things that go wrong, but to your point, Florida is a great place to buy right now because the market is soft.
Yes.
So keep that in mind.
And so is Chicago.
Chicago's so stable.
Yes, Chicago's very stable.
It's a great place to invest.
Yes.
And that's why
it's a great place to invest. And like I said before, with those clients that I started off with in 2018, I had a couple flips with them under my belt. So by the time the market went all the way up in 2020, 2021, we were seeing our investments kind of double in profits.
Oh my gosh,
which is kind of crazy, because in 2018, 2019, we were purchasing properties for about 25,000 to 50,000, and we were flipping them, and we were able to sell them for about 150,000.
Wow.
So then those same houses that we ended up purchasing in that time frame, we were working on them in the 2020 and 21 spring market, and those same houses were going for about 200 to 225.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So it was amazing for my clients. They were so excited. And then we just continued after that.
You know, like a so snowball.
Funny. I have people that are, a common question I think that we get is like, you know, people will call me and ask like, oh, where's a good place to invest? Is there any good investments out there? We live in a massive market.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. When people are like, I've had clients, which I wonder if you guys can weigh on this, like, oh, I'm just going to find a foreclosure, or I'm just going to do that. Yes. It's like, for the amount of equity that the normal average homeowner has right now, like foreclosures are very, very scarce. Mm-hmm. And okay, let's say it's going to auction and in person, like that's an all cash deal. Like they don't realize, like they think like, okay, I got my 20% down, I'm ready to make an investment. Like you can't just, it doesn't happen that way always.
And sometimes the auction, you can't even go look at the property before.
And it might come with liens. Like you have to like take all that.
Liens, violations. I mean.
Tenants that need to be evicted.
And that becomes a whole thing as well.
All the things. So that's like, that's.
Duval and I are giving each other eyes.
Yes.
We got a property that we need to evict some tenants on.
Yes, we do.
How does that process look?
How does that process look?
So
actually, that's a great question.
Have we started that process on that one?
No, we have not.
So,
is this an off the record? This is an off the record speech. Actually, maybe we shouldn't be, because there's proper protocol.
There's proper protocol. I mean, you can just.
What is the proper protocol?
Proper protocol would be, depending on how long they've lived in the property, you have to give the tenants notice, right? So if it's under, I want to say under a year or a year to 3 years, you give them like 30 to 60 days. But if they've been there for a while, you definitely want to give them 90 to 100 to 120 days notice.
Wow.
For them to leave and vacate the property.
Oh shoot.
Yes.
Okay.
So usually with my clients, when we do that, we hand them a letter, we email them, we text them, and we put it on their door saying that they're being evicted and they have a certain amount of time to leave the property.
Okay, and that's probably so you guys can do work on it, right?
Yes,
correct.
And knock on wood, it's worked pretty much. We haven't had to go through the courts.
Okay.
So thank God.
Thank God. We end up finding some kind of deal. Either my clients like help them find a new place, or they just end up leaving because they know they've been in this property that they shouldn't be in.
Mm-hmm. And Garrett and Kaylin, they had a crazy squatter situation. Do you remember hearing about that in one of their Airbnbs? It was insane.
What did they do?
They had some. I don't quote me on all this, but I think what happened was this family was there. Their home had got caught on fire, and they were supposed to have insurance money coming to pay for the Airbnb or something. Wait,
the Airbnb caught on fire?
No,
their home.
Their primary residence caught on fire, so they were staying in Garrett and Kaylin's Airbnb.
They went through it legitimately.
This and that, and then something happened where the insurance company found out that they lit the fire. It was fraud. Yeah. And so the money wasn't coming through. It was some crazy thing, but I think they spent 6 months trying to evict these people.
Yes.
It was a nightmare.
Did they see them face to face?
I feel like if
that
court and everything.
Yes.
If that were my property, I feel like I'd be
That's the one thing I will say
Like,
about Illinois. It is so important to make sure.
You know the rights of that. Yeah.
Well, no, but also that you pick quality tenants.
Yes.
That is like...
It's a little harder. Yeah. In Illinois, compared to some of these other states, it's a little harder for us to get tenants out.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, some of my clients, we kind of plead with them, hey, we'll work with you to move you to another property. You know, when people feel as if they don't have anywhere else to go, then that's when they kind of dig their heels in and staying in, you know, in the property.
Yeah, like I have
So,
nothing
yeah.
else to lose. Might
Exactly.
as well become a
might
squatter.
as well just squat and just stay where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I know.
And that's why it's important to, you know, list your, even if it's a rental, anything, to list it with an agent, because like that's one thing I love about App Properties is they have a very, very like extensive background search that they run on all of these tenants that apply to, you know, our clients' listing that we're essentially listing for rent. And then we also have Forewarn. Like we just have a lot of good like resources at our fingertips to figure out, like, I mean, and sure, maybe they can have the cleanest record ever and they end up being terrible tenants. That's of course, you know, there's a chance that can happen. But for the most part, I think that we can figure out the red flags if there are any, you know.
And I think too, like that always helps. And I actually had someone go through the process that we were renting with, perfect tenants, but she was a hairdresser. She actually made really good money, but she broke her hand. Oh. So what do you think happened? Obviously, she can't work because she doesn't work a 9 to 5. She's not like, you know, she's kind of like us where, you know, if something happens to us, we don't make money, you know? So it was the same situation where it was unfortunate, but after a while, we kind of had to evict her because she wasn't paying rent after some time. So, you know, you kind of go through the emotions of, you know, when you're doing investments and working with people. Like, yes, granted, we understand your situation, but
at the end of the day, this is a way that my clients make a living.
Exactly.
Like this is their living, is to, you know, make a profit, or, you know, just the property. I mean, just the property itself is its own mini 401k, you know.
And this person ended up purchasing this property with a loan. So they had a mortgage to pay. So it wasn't something where they can just eat that cost. They had to pay the mortgage or they would lose the home. So the way that they're paying this mortgage is through the rent. And if you're not paying rent, the mortgage isn't getting paid. So we have to find a new renter.
Yeah.
It is. It's hard. Now, I feel, how do people decide what area to invest in? I feel like that's another really common question that I see.
And I think that might be a different scenario between city and suburbs, because I think I know what I'd say to suburbs.
City and suburbs, but also I think so much of it has to do with maybe where the investor themselves lives.
Yes.
Is that correct? I mean, what do you say when people come to you like, okay, well, Duval, where do you think's good, like a hot place to invest right now?
So, I mean, I'm a little biased because I've mainly worked on the South Side, and it's been proven in those neighborhoods such as Chatham, Roseland, and West Pullman for my clients to actually make money, and South Shore, some of these other neighborhoods. And then in the South suburbs, I would say Calumet City, South Holland. My clients that have done investments down there have made quite a bit of, you know, great investments down there as well. How about you? Like in the South suburbs, where would you? Yeah,
I pretty much say I feel like when it comes to single family homes in the South suburbs, 9 times out of 10, school district is going to be a big factor. So I always, you know, it depends on what they're looking for. Like, I mean, especially if it's something that would be you know, not to break fair housing, but it would be something that'd be welcoming to a family or to kids. I feel like that your best bet is to buy in a school district that's sought after, that maybe people can't necessarily afford to break through to purchase in, but they want to stay in the area. But that's one of my biggest things, is to look at school district. And what sucks about that though is usually the sales prices are really high there. So like whenever my clients come to me and they want to start investing or anything, whether it's just starting to get a single family home in Frankfurt, they just want to break into that investment and start their portfolio. I always set their expectations of like, you know, it's kind of a needle in a haystack in this market, in this area, to find something that's going to be a straight up steal and make it worth it. And I think that there's also, in my opinion, I think that different properties are better doing different types of investments. Like I might walk into a property and think that this is definitely Like the house that we bought in Manhattan, like I knew I wanted to hold on to that forever because it's a really good location. And it's an older house. Like I didn't want to, like, I'm sure that we could have made money if we like flipped and sold it, but I would have rather keep building that equity because I'm confident in the future of Manhattan. Yes. Whereas I feel like if you were to get a house that was super, super cheap, and then when you take renovations into account and then the time of year, what things are selling for, sometimes it might be the better move to flip and sell that. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of times buying and holding is usually, and renting out. I just am more of a long-term gratification person. Like I'm like, okay, let me wait for that. Like I just even knowing in the back of my head that we have an investment property that if all shit hit the fan, we can sell it. You know, like I like to know that like, so that's like kind of my goal, mine and Corey's goal, I should say, is to just have like a handful of like single family homes that are near us. Cause like you said, near the investor. There's a couple houses that we like looked at in Mantino before. And like, we're like, we just don't want it to be 30 minutes for Corey to drive out and fix the water heater. Like, even though it's not that long, but I'd rather them be kind of like right in our backyard, you know?
No, I totally agree. And I think it's really challenging because people in the outside world, I feel like I get the question all the time, where's a good place to invest? Where should I start?
And it's like,
I'm glad you said that too, because the same thing for me, like when I purchased my property, I was thinking long term as well. And I purchased my property in 2022 at the height of the market. But I ended up purchasing in Chatham, which is a South Side neighborhood. And the main thing when you're looking in the city is like, how far are you from the train station?
Oh, right? Yeah.
So I'm about 5 blocks west of the Red Line, which is great. And then about a year later in 2023, they just announced that they were going to be building the metro station in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood, which is actually 5 blocks east of my property. Oh, that's awesome. So it was kind of crazy because I'm smack dab right in between the Red Line and the metro, right? That's so awesome. Being close to the train system and public transportation actually has brought up the value for all the houses in my neighborhood.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So looking at things like that definitely help explain to different investors like where to look.
Yeah.
Right. So
well, and also like hot areas in the city, which again, we're kind of back to the point of those are usually higher sale prices. But like, you know, I think about like my girlfriend that lives in the city, Sam, and like, you know, she's only going to live somewhere where she has like walkable to everything, her bar class, or this like somewhere that's like a nice, that kind of thing. So, you know, and that's why I feel like city and suburbs differ in that manner, because I just think that the amenities and the close proximity to things is going to differ when you're in the suburbs, and what that rental tenant pool looks like versus the rental tenant pool in the city might be more of like, you know, younger person looking for some good nightlife options, all those things. Whereas I don't think that's as much of a thing in the suburbs. Right.
Yeah. And I think so much of this has to do with the particular person that's looking to invest. Yeah. And I think people need to let go of like, oh, where's the up and coming neighborhood? Where's this? Where's that? Like, what makes the most sense for you?
Yes.
To add a second job to your plate? Like, are you going to get a property manager? Do you literally want nothing ever to do with this property? Because like that's just not realistic. You know, the keys are going. The tenant's going to get locked out. The toilet's is going to be leaking. Like, there's going to be situations.
That's why you always have a lockbox somewhere.
I have this client. We actually just closed on the second investment property. You went to the inspection, that one in Mokina. Yeah. So I met these clients. I think she honestly found me on Facebook. Like, she lives in Mokina, but she had found me. And at first she was looking for a place. Her dad was really sick. And she's like, I'm looking for a place for my dad ultimately, but I want it to be an investment, you know, after he passes. So we ended up finding him a house, this cute little, you know, small little ranch, no basement in Mokina, super affordable. And it was like 2 weeks after they closed, he ended up passing away. So she's never had like any type of, they've never rented, or they've never been investors. They've never done any of this. So, you know, I put it up for rent. We went through that whole thing. I kind of shared with her what I know just from our rental. And this was almost a year ago. And then there was a property that popped up in Mokina, and they live in Mokina. She's familiar with Mokina. They're actually originally from the city. So it's not even like they're as familiar with neighboring towns like New Lenox or anything like that. Like she really loves Mokina. So then that one's in Mokina. Then there was this great one that popped up in Mokina. It was listed for like $250, and I knew it'd be a great rental. It had a fenced in yard, all those things. And so we bought that, and we just found a rental for that. And I just told her the other day, I was like, I'm just like so happy for you. Like you went into this.
She just became a investor just overnight.
And she's like, it's funny because I know she doesn't stay home. Her husband, he's always like traveling for work doing this. So it's all her that's like hands-on with everything. But I'm just like, I just give her so much props. And she's like, she sent me another one that's listed in Mokino. Would this be a good rental? Yes. Like all this, like she's so excited about it because everything is snowballing. And she's gotten like, she's getting for this really small house. I'm talking small, guys, like 900 square feet. Granted, it has a great garage, great yard, but it's 900 square feet. She's getting $2,400 a month for that. And then the Mokino one that we just, $2,500. Like that was a small 3-bedroom ranch with no basement. Like you just need good location and solid bones, and it also to not be obviously completely trash. Like with this past one, she added new carpet and got new paint, and it was like the whole house changed.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, like what are things when you're looking at these investment properties for, let's say, for long-term or flip, what are red flags to you where you're like, ooh, this would not be good to buy?
So I would say like big ticket items. So let's say if you're a first time investor, big ticket items such as water intrusion, foundation issues. If you have to replace a roof, I probably would stay away from those big ticket items if you're not a seasoned investor.
Windows.
Yes, windows. So if you are a seasoned investor, then yes, I would say let's go ahead. We'll definitely mock it up and make sure that we get all the pricing out there, because you can start digging around and then more issues start popping up, right? Yeah. So it's one of those things. It just depends.
Like age of home. Too, a lot of that, like if it was built before 1950, I want to see that basement.
Yes.
Like that's usually how when my clients send me something, I'll be like, there's no photos of the basement, but it says a full basement. I literally can't give you my opinion until we go and see that basement.
Exactly. You want to make sure you look at that basement.
Yes.
And then you want to check also if there's any violations or liens on the property. Like you would be surprised. You think the property looks great, everything is going well. Then you go through a return review and there's violations on the property, right? So as an agent kind of learning through this process, I know to look up that stuff before we even put in the offer.
Where do you look to see if there's violations?
So if it's in the city, actually if it's in Cook County actually has a website where you can just type it in, type in an address, and you can look up the violations.
Oh, that's good to know.
And this could be, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've heard this before and I think it's true. Like let's say that this homeowner hired a contractor to come and do work, and that homeowner decided that they didn't want to pay the contractor.
Yes.
That contractor could essentially then put a lien on that property, like $50,000, whatever that she's owed. And let's say homeowner goes and sells her property and someone on the other end didn't do any due diligence. That lien does not go with the homeowner. That lien stays with the property.
Yes.
And that next homeowner is going to be responsible for that.
I'm so glad you brought that up because this happened like 2 weeks ago. So I actually had a listing.
It's like I've heard that. I heard it one time years ago and it's always stuck with me. Like that is terrifying. That is why I will never, ever, ever do my job without an attorney.
Yes. So I actually had a listing in South Shore and I had a buyer come in with their agent and they were like frantically like coming into my open house. And I'm like, okay, like, are you guys ready to buy? The buyer was like, I'm ready to buy right now. She said, we literally went through the whole process, to purchase a property for a month on another property down the street. And the contractor did not get paid and they put a lien on the property. So title was not free and clear when they got to closing.
Wow.
So that's why they were at my open house. Granted, they didn't purchase my property, but it was just crazy to think that was like literally just 2 doors down a house, that I was competing with, basically had a lien on the property. So the title wasn't free and clear. Granted, you can still purchase the property, but that
lien is now yours.
That lien will be yours.
Gosh, I wonder if it's ever, this is part of the job of closing and title company and attorneys.
Oh, I'm sure there's been times where it's going under the radar. I'm sure there had to have been.
Yeah.
And I know you guys had Jason on this podcast as well. He is another like great resource. Like here in Illinois, definitely use your attorneys as much as you can because I use Jason. We use Jason quite a bit. I make sure if something doesn't seem funny, I'm like, hey, it doesn't seem right. I say, hey, Jason, can you take a look at this real quick? Can you take a look at this property and make sure that we don't have any issues, especially when we go through the whole process and then we get to the closing table, I don't want anything popping up.
Right. No joke. I mean, and then your client's paying for quotes and contractors and inspections and all that. And then they get to closing. They're like, oh, just kidding. You know, like that sucks.
Yes.
Wow.
What else?
Let me think. Let's see. What else do I have jotted down?
I've just been shooting off the hip here.
Yeah,
I know, it's been great.
I love this conversation. I love talking about investments.
Well, yeah, I guess we went through kind of what you look at to quickly analyze if something is worth it or not, right? I mean,
I think
obviously the bones and
I was just with a young couple actually. We were talking about this. One thing to consider, you know, they were trying to decide, and I guess this is a good question for all of us. They're like, she has a home and he has a home. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're deciding, okay, do they sell both these homes and then buy a home together, or like, do they rent one of the homes out? And then, you know, if a client comes to you and they're trying to decide, should I sell my home?
Oh yeah, that is a good question.
Should I sell my home and buy something else, or do I keep my home and rent it out? Like, what? How do you help guide a client as to what they should do in that scenario?
So it's actually, that is very common. I would say, especially in the city, you have a lot of people that bought their first condo. So you get a lot of clients that are that come together. They both have their own condo and they're looking to purchase a house or a townhome, right? So I start off and say, like, let's use the example from 2 months ago. I had a couple that one was moving from Rogers Park. They had a listing, and another one was moving from the South Loop, and they were looking for a house in Bridgeport. So basically, I looked at the neighborhood. Will you be able to get your mortgage covered with the rent and then some? I think that's like the number one thing, right?
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
want to make sure if you're
the numbers.
If your mortgage is $2,000 a month, and then we're looking at comps, and your rental is the rental income is $1,800, that you might as well sell the property.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So luckily for them, they both bought in great areas in the South Loop and Rogers Park, where they were actually getting more money in rent than their mortgage. So for both of them, I said, hey, we definitely need to rent these properties out.
Yeah.
So we had the husband actually move from his Rogers Park property down to the South Loop. So I rented out his Rogers Park property first while we were looking for their Bridgeport house, right? We still haven't found their house yet. So they're still staying in their South Loop property.
Okay.
But once we do find their house, then I'm going to be putting their South Loop property up for rent.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And I would say, like, one of the first questions I ask when somebody tells me this is,
I know I feel like that we have the same thing in our heads right now, because we talked about it with your house.
what?
When you were teetering between renting out your Frankfurt house and like everything's new right now. Like, why wouldn't you sell it while it's at the peak of its prime?
I was going to ask, like, what I ask the client is what's your interest rate? Like,
that too.
That is almost my first question that I always ask, because if it's real low, you might not see that again for many years.
And if you can hang on to it, and you would, you know, and you're open to being a landlord, then yes, do it.
It's just so funny because every situation is different, and that's why us being consultants in this situation and asking all these questions and helping guide them to the right decision. It's like, I see how important it is to have a good realtor on their side, because so many questions and discussions that we're going to have about what they want for their life. Like, I'll tell them, like, this is what it's like to be a landlord. Like, I know what it's, we all know what it's like to be a landlord.
Right.
And, you know,
I think, and just like you said, it's all different. There's so many scenarios, because like that example that I gave with the couple in Rogers Park and South Loop, it may not work for someone in the suburbs, because they probably need that extra cash from their sale to go to a new property. So I think it's one of those things where you really have to, like, dig deep. And it's funny though, because it's just going to be question after question after question until you finally find
and there's
right
never
thing.
going to be like a complete black or white answer, in my opinion. There's going to be a pro to a con, because yes, I'm glad that you brought that up too, because that's also something too. When my clients are like, well, you know, I bought my starter home XYZ, we bought it in 2021, so our interest rate is super cheap.
Yes.
You're never going to find a mortgage like ours anywhere, but we need to upsize, and we're thinking of, just renting ours out. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, that's going to be, again, how much what is that lump sum if you were to sell tomorrow? Like, what is that net number that you're going to walk away with and be able to put 20, 30, 40% down on your bigger house to minimize your mortgage payment that you're so happy you have it low right now? Yes. Or are you going to take the hit and you are going to do 5% down, have a higher mortgage payment, be a landlord? Like, there's so many different pros and cons, and it truly, like, we're here to map it out for you and lay it out for you, but it has to be, it's also a lifestyle decision. Are you so busy with your kids in sports you can't fathom somebody calling you because something's broken at your house? Like, those things that you need to think about too. And also, if you're going to rent out your house, like, what if you put all this money into, like, things that would make it so marketable in today's market? So, like, in my opinion, I think the way I finish a bathroom is going to depend on if this is my forever home or not. Mm-hmm. And so if you did all these quality finishes that are going to make your house be at the peak of its market, well, though a renter is 9 times out of 10 not going to take care of your home the way that you do. And 10 years down the line, those upgrades aren't as sparkling anymore.
Yeah, the customization that you do in your house, I mean, you appreciate it because you do it, but that doesn't mean the next person does.
So it's like either take your money and run while it's perfect and like it's so much better than the neighbor's house because you did that bathroom last year, because you did your kitchen, or sure, rent it out if it's in a good neighborhood and you are super certain of the location and the equity that you're going to gain, then do that. But like,
and I always say too, like I ask people, the area that they might be looking to rent in, what does that area look like in 10 years?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
We don't know. That's where a lot of the gamble comes into play. Like, do you think that I thought Naples my value was gonna go down this much? Absolutely not. But that's something you have to ask yourself. And is that something you can stand to weather the storm on?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you can't stand to weather the storm, you better take your equity and roll it into the next thing.
Well, and that's why I feel like that's why it's so big to talk about, like, even if we are talking simple numbers of like, okay, your mortgage is this, you need to, this needs to be your rent in order for you to cash flow. Like, if you're right at the brim, like if your mortgage is $2,000 and you can rent for $2,100, you need to take into account that like there might be some months you're in the hole because there might need to be a repair that month that was X amount.
Or just raise the rent.
Or just raise the rent. So there's all those
Duval's
things.
Answer.
Yes, raise the rent.
But okay, I wanted to ask you more about you in a sense of what is your daily routine like, and who is your?
I love that question.
Or weekly, or any of your like tricks of the trade of being an agent, and like your type of ideal client that you're currently trying to go after, I guess.
This is such a great question.
So I actually started off this year trying to work out in the morning because, like, it's
the best.
It's the best. Like, I kind of just get my energy up for the rest of the day. Mainly calls, making sure I check up with everyone. With my current clients, people that are actively looking, people that are still maybes, because we're still in February. So we still have people. Yeah, we're still in February.
I know, it feels like 6 months into 2026 right
now. And I'm pretty sure you guys have clients said, hey, give me a call in March or April when it's nice and warm. So basically, I'm kind of in that limbo stage right now.
PSA, if you told me that, can you call me? No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
Sometimes I'm like, yesterday I texted Stephanie, I'm like, I just want to make sure I'm not going crazy. Like, this job 100% is a constant feeling of like, what am I forgetting?
Yes, I'm forgetting something.
Always.
Or especially when you're like,
I can't shake it.
You're in front of the computer and you do all this work and then you're like, okay, what's next? And then you're like, wait, I have nothing next. And it was like, I have something next.
And then it just comes to you at the worst time. And I'm like, my gosh.
When I'm eating, when I'm relaxing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I know. In the car, all my thinking happens in the car. I'm like, my task list. I was telling Kelly this yesterday. Oh, my phone's. I was telling Kelly this yesterday. I am obsessed with that Microsoft task list. Do you ever use it?
No, I just use.
She tries to sell me and Molly on it. Same.
What do you use?
Apple Notes.
Same.
No, I'm telling you, I should be a sales lady for Microsoft for their tools.
Do you have a Mac or?
I have a Mac.
Oh, see, that's why.
Stephanie, you are now actually kind of the one. Like, you're like almost a different person now. Yeah. But
So
okay, sorry. Yeah.
You use Microsoft Task.
This task list I love. Okay, because
Is it the same thing as OneNote? Is that what you're talking about?
No, something different. But it's actually in your email. Like if you use Outlook email, it's the little blue check mark. If you click on it, it is amazing because I have a task list that I share with Molly. I have my own task list. I can have a daily task list, and then you can also mark things as important that stay. Like it is just ultimate organization for tasks, so those things don't ever fall off the brain.
Oh yeah.
Is what?
See, I feel like I get that with Apple Notes.
Yeah.
Sure. You know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too, because they have to-do list on the iPhone as well. I think it does.
It's like a reminders app. It's like the reminders app.
It's kind of like that, probably.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I may need to take a look at that because when the spring market hits, we're going to be ripping and running. And one of the questions I wanted to go back just with the time frame for investors.
Oh yeah.
I think kind of just going back to making sure that you have your investors purchase at the right time. Right.
Yeah.
To be ready to sell during prime time.
I think that's like one of the main things when working with investors is like making sure that we go and we look at properties. We mainly look in the fall and winter. So that's what keeps my business rolling throughout the year is that during spring, I'm mainly working with regular buyers and regular sellers right now. But during the fall and winter, I'm mainly working with investors. I'm not working with
that
regular
is such a
buyers
good
and
tidbit
sellers.
because that is a great thing to focus on during our slower months.
Yes.
And it's also like PSA to realtors, like if you do have an investor that approaches you during these times, talk about kind of like punting them to the fall.
Exactly.
Like a little bit of like, this is going to be in your best interest for you. Obviously, like you'll have more time too as an agent, but it's going to be, and like explaining that timeline. And that's such a good way of saying it. It's like, that's going to be your meat and potatoes through fall and winter.
No one wants to move in the fall.
Right. Okay.
Nobody wants to move in
it's so
the
funny.
winter.
Like, and I think the city especially, that spring to fall swing is massive.
It's major.
Massive. Like, I don't think people understand quite how big. This property that I had up for sale that I'm thinking of right now, the Logan Square.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
If I would have sold that this fall, what it would have sold for versus right now, I had that 31 showings on one day.
Yeah.
Like just in the private network, like mind blowing.
Everyone's crazy.
The fall market, everyone's coming back from their summer vacation. People are getting their kids ready for school. So it is
They're a
very
little
slow time.
less motivated too, because I feel like
Yes.
they're kind of looking into the future. Like they're open to buying right now, but it has to be so perfect.
Yes.
The price has to be perfect. They're not going to bend on one thing because in their head they're like, well, if I don't find it now, then I'll just wait for spring.
It might be
Yeah,
You know,
I'll
they-
wait until next year.
Yes, and
you know.
you're going to end up paying more next year. But I
Yep.
feel like that's a big psychological thing that I personally have said before about fall buyers is I think that they are looking too far ahead, which makes their willingness and eagerness to buy right now so little.
And with that kind of mindset actually is what helps with investors because they say, oh, there aren't as many buyers on the market. I can get something for cheap.
Yes.
So that's literally when my investors purchase is during the downtime in fall and winter when there aren't as many buyers.
Totally.
And then we take that property and then we put it on the market in the springtime when everyone's out.
That's so funny.
Well, we live in Chicago. We get the 4 seasons. So,
Don't we though?
All right, let's one more thing.
One
What
more
is
thing?
your biggest flip horror story or any horror story? Do you have any you can share?
I have to think of one that we can say on.
Oh, come on. There's
On
no
the pod.
rules. There's no rules.
I would say, I had one 2 years ago in West Pullman, great property. We bought it for $50K. We were selling it for $200K.
Wow. Okay.
So
Sounds like it's going to be
It was
all
amazing. We thought it was going to be perfect. And then I would say the week we were supposed to close, which was in January,
Oh.
the furnace went out.
Uh-oh.
The furnace went out, and you guys know exactly how this happens. The furnace goes out when it's like super cold. Then what do you think happened?
Pipes
Pipes
froze.
Pipe froze.
Oh.
Pipes froze. It burst.
And this is
And
your listing.
It was my listing.
Oh, no.
With my
Oh my
investor.
God, and it was newly renovated.
Newly renovated.
Oh
No.
my
This is-
God.
this
oh
is-
my God.
So
this
what
is-
does that
this is
scene
the
look
kind of
like?
thing
So
you
tell
gotta
us.
emotionally
Okay.
prepare
So
for.
this is crazy because something told me go check on this property because I just came back from vacation.
And how
as well.
old was the furnace?
The furnace was actually, it was about 15 years old.
Okay, so not even to the point where you think like, oh boy.
Exactly. So it was just kind of shocking that we went in there during the holidays. Everything was fine. We get back in January, the furnace gave out. So I get in the house and all of a sudden I see on the windows, like there was like mist on the windows. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. I opened the door. The ceiling was all the way down.
No.
The pipes upstairs, all the pipes burst. The ones upstairs, the ones downstairs.
Wait a minute, what?
Yes.
And when was the last time anyone was there? Was it you? Was it your investor?
So my investor went right after me in December. So I probably would say I went
like
on the
23rd.
Maybe? I went on the 23rd and he went on the 26th because I went before Christmas. He came after Christmas. And then we came back, I want to say mid-January.
So it was only like a matter of a couple weeks?
Yes. And then, we have those crazy swings where all of a sudden it's 40 degrees the next day, So when I tell you, I had to call my client. I was like, I felt so bad. I called him. I said, hey, the pipes burst. He said he was getting ready for work.
Oh my God.
So I said, no, you need to come over here now because we're closing in 2 days. I said, I know you're getting ready for work. You need to come.
Wait, we're closing in 2 days.
Yes. So my client came running.
Oh my God.
Over. Luckily, like you guys said, he lived close by. You could tell he didn't even, he's like bald like me. He didn't shave his head. He was wearing pajamas. He literally had the house shoes on. And when I say when I opened the door, he couldn't even like walk inside. He literally just put his hands up and went, F.
Oh my God.
He was like, I'm done. I am done. I was like, oh, I felt
And was it pretty
terrible.
Smooth sailing up to that point, or were there a couple?
It was smooth sailing.
But,
luckily, and this is a great thing about reputation and knowing people that you work with, because I told the agent, I said, hey, our contractor is going to get this done. Like, it's going to cost us money, but is your client still willing to close on the deal? And this client was like, she already had her moving trucks ready.
Oh, I guess that's good.
So
I guess that's good.
So we ended up still we were so scared she was going to back out because any normal buyer, well, I shouldn't say normal, but most 95% of buyers would have backed out because they could. Because it didn't meet their standards during their final walkthrough. But she said, you know what? Just get it done. Get it done.
God bless
her. Yeah.
She was amazing.
Wow. That would have made me
shock.
lose sleep for like 2 days.
I did lose sleep for 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
I did.
I don't think people realize
how much we carry with us.
Any realtor knows, we are on the emotional roller coaster with our clients every day. Mm-hmm. Again, my cortisol levels, I talk about it all the time.
I know.
It's kind of crazy, being realtors, I feel like, with the emotions of it, because you have one client that's calling you crying about an inspection, and then right after that, you have a call with another client that's saying, I just got the credit clause, I'm so excited. So it's you have to go up and down.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. So okay, so I have a question for you guys. When that happens, during your day to day, when you're talking to all your different clients, how do you regulate your emotions? Because
I go on this damn podcast
I know,
and
right?
I literally vent everything out.
I will say I try to be very, and it's funny because I came across this. I just reposted it on TikTok last night about and I feel like that this is something I try to practice internally is being in a good mood naturally, mm-hmm. and not waiting for something to put you in a good mood. I feel again, if something, and I've been really good about when things bad happen in my job, it's just these things are out of my control usually all the time. It sucks when I'm the bearer of bad news, and I let myself, will give myself that pity party for a minute. But I mean, the next time I talk to a client that's a completely different situation, I have to snap right back.
Exactly.
And I think that was a big thing that my old job taught me when I did hair is I could have a full-blown 2-3 hour ordeal with a client who is going through the hardest thing of their life, divorce, this, that, and it could be so doom and gloom depressing. And then my next client just got the best job ever that she interviewed for and was so excited for, and I have to celebrate those wins too. And having to turn it on and off your personality almost, because if you let one negative thing that happens in the beginning of the day determine the rest of your day, you're literally hurting no one but yourself.
Yeah. And we truly, this podcast is called Realtor Therapy, but we are truly therapists.
Yes,
we are 100%
therapists. I was telling Duval about my client, about her calling me yesterday, freaking out. Older client, not computer savvy, like no tech. I pick her up and take her everywhere. Like, I've often thought to myself, if I was not the realtor helping this woman,
I know, you told me.
Who would do this?
Wait, so she was going off about what?
So she has to unlock her credit report for her lender. And it is, for some reason, a big catastrophe doing this. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening. I'm not privy to the meetings with the lender. Okay, the lender has to do their job. Called me yesterday and said we're under contract for a buy and we're under contract for her sale. She called me yesterday saying she wants to cancel everything.
Stop it.
She's done. She's thrown in the towel. She's going to stay where she's at. Call the attorney right now. I'm canceling. She's telling me this. Call the attorney right now. We're canceling everything, all because she was having trouble unlocking her credit to do for.
What do you mean unlocking it? Like, she just didn't want a hard inquiry?
I think she has something protecting her identity, so the lender can't pull her credit. It's having a hard time pulling the credit because she needs to unlock it.
And she has to do it herself too.
Yes.
So how did you handle it?
I just let her go off, and I was like, well, it's not that easy to do at this point, and then was losing her shit, saying she's going to be homeless.
So what is going on? Is she still?
Why is that the first thing everyone says? I'm going to be homeless. I'm like, okay, listen, you're not going to be homeless. We're going to figure this out. The melodramatics do not help.
The melodramatics. So what is it? I mean, is she canceling or what's going on?
No, I just kind of let her go off, and I contacted the lender. She made another appointment with the lender. She went to his office today in person, and they figured out how to unlock it. So she's continuing with it.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, sometimes they just need that.
To the point, like, I'm not kidding you. If we would have still been in attorney review, she would have probably canceled.
Yeah.
But it was far enough along that she was out of attorney review on both deals. So I didn't want to freak her out even more, but I was like, you'll be in breach of contract, you will get sued.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just cancel because you don't feel on like unlocking your credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
my
God.
point is
things
like,
we have to do.
People don't. I mean, other realtors out there listening, they enjoy hearing these things because misery likes company.
Yeah, you just have to.
It's funny that you say that because I recently just had a investor. It's surprising that she's even an investor. She's not tech savvy at all. So the same thing, we were selling her last property. So she basically just wanted to get out of it. So she had all of these properties that she purchased in the 80s actually.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
She's going to sit on a gold mine.
How did she find you?
It was a referral.
Oh, see.
Yes. So someone that didn't work in the West Pullman area. So if you're in the area or you have someone in the area, let me know.
Yeah.
Yes. Her and her brother ended up purchasing all these properties when properties were cheap in the 80s for like $1.
Yeah.
And then I guess her brother ended up just wanting to, their relationship just separated. So she had all these properties. So she started selling them off one by one. So I was helping her sell this property and she's like, I'm at the library. You need to come meet me. I'm like, the library? Who has
library?
So I met her there. Then she's like, oh, can you drop me off as well? Because one of my friends dropped me off. So I'm like, wait, you don't drive? You don't use the computer?
And she goes to the library.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, oh, don't text any important information to my phone. I'm like, because I think she actually had identity theft. So she's one of those ones that would probably lock her credit as well. So she's very untrusting. So I sat through and every document, every time, and we went under contract 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
I had to meet with her on 3 different occasions to actually sign the contract, and then when the deals will fall through, I had to meet with her again to cancel the contract and sign over the earnest money.
Stop.
I actually had a blind client once.
Oh my God.
Now we're getting canceled because of Kelly.
It's not an opinion. It's a fact. And so, needless to say, there was no e-signing.
Talk about one-upping us. We're like,
needless to say.
I've had a deaf client.
There's no e-signing. And then I tell you that me and this man had locked arms through the whole listing agreement and both contracts that fell through. I was like, no, right here, Bill. Right.
You should have put.
Guys,
what was that thing called?
I'm not
the
kidding
brown?
you. This part.
Oh, the brown. Yes.
This is the contract. Can
This
you get
is
the
where
contract
we
in
get
brown?
slap happy.
This is where we cut the podcast off.
All right, everyone.
We cannot. We are going to get canceled.
All right, give it up for Duval, everyone.
No, I'm saying. I'm not saying.
No, I'm saying we're trying.
I'm saying I might have to literally trim this part out.
Oh,
Oh,
see,
okay.
now we're just making it a bigger thing, and people are gonna be like, "What?
What?
Oh, we should have just let it fly under the radar." I'm sorry, my client has an impaired vision.
Impaired vision.
He had impaired vision.
Yes, we work with
So,
everybody.
well, Duval, thank you. I guess
No
we'll end it there.
problem.
Thank you for coming on today. This was so amazing, and we love you so much.
Yes, I'm so glad I came. Thank you guys for having me.
Wait, we want to know first of all, where can people find you?
You can find me at my Instagram at
Is that your favorite social media?
you can find me
What? With what I said?
you can Google me, Duval Williams.
Duval Williams.
And everything should pop up.
Can
My
I please
Instagram,
say
my TikTok,
also,
all of
please
it.
do not call him Duval.
That is the first thing that Stephanie told me when I met you.
correct everyone. You don't correct enough people.
Listen,
I know.
I'm so used to it at this point, and it's funny too because, in Florida, there's a county named Duval, so that's what everyone's like, oh, Duval when they read my name, so I get it all the time.
Yeah, you were like, no, it's like Vale, like a veil.
Yeah,
that's
like
what you
Vale.
told me a
Val.
million.
Or I
Val,
say
like Val.
or
Yeah,
like
right.
Valerie. So I say
That's-
like use Valerie, like Duval.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna remember everybody. Val, like Valerie, Duval Williams, and is your Instagram just Duval Williams?
Yes, it's Duval _ at properties.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right.
Where else? And I mean, again, we didn't.
I'm
answer.
on TikTok.
Oh,
Yes.
What's your ideal client? Do you have anybody?
my-
Anybody with money?
Investors.
Yeah, I was about to say just
Duval's like, I don't discriminate. Anybody.
no. I work.
Blind, deaf, whatever.
I literally, and that's what I love about my business is the fact that I literally in the same day I will work with like an investor that has like $1 million,
Right.
over $1 million budget, and then I work with someone that their pre-approval letter is only for 150. So
That's
as
great.
long as my main thing is I don't care about the price point, just have your stuff together. If you
Yeah.
don't
Be
have it-
serious.
yes,
Don't be a tire
serious.
kicker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind. I'll help anybody. I think all of us will help anybody
Yeah.
in any price point. It's just that just have your stuff together. Make sure you have your pre-approval together. Make sure you know what you want, or at least give me an idea so I can find you something. I think that's kind of what.
And you
ideal
work from
client.
like the north side of the city down to the
Yes.
south side of the city to the south
Yeah.
suburbs.
Exactly.
So you cover a wide range.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
tomorrow, I have showings in Hyde Park, and then I'm going all the way to Old Town tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, and then I'm going to Riverdale right after that.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm all over.
All over, you guys. I would say a lot of our team does that. Like,
Yes.
everybody's kind of all over the map, but we'll help you wherever.
Yes.
Okay, you guys.
Awesome.
Any final thoughts? Invest with Duval.
Yes.
That's what we should call this podcast.
Invest with Duval. That sounds great.
Yes.
Well, yeah, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank
this
you
was
guys
great.
for having me. Go group all the way.
Go,
Go
All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on Realtor Therapy with Stef and Cal.
If you loved what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on social media.
Got a wild real estate story or a topic idea?
Drop it anonymously in the form in our show notes. We'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep hustling, stay sane, and remember,
We're all in this together.